Hello, I want to invite you to take a moment just to arrive here, to arrive in your body exactly as it is right now. You don't need to fix your posture or force a smile or pretend that you are okay if you are not. Just take a deep breath and hold it for a gentle second and let it go. If you clicked on this video, I have a feeling that you are carrying something very heavy. Maybe it is the sharp, piercing weight of a recent loss. Maybe it is the dull, heavy blanket of depression that makes it hard to get out of bed. Or maybe it is the echo of a trauma that happened years ago, but still feels like it happened this morning. Whatever it is, I want you to know that your pain is real. It is valid, and it makes sense that you are tired. But I also want to talk to you about something else today. I want to talk about the difference between the pain of being human, which is inevitable, and the suffering that comes from the stories we tell ourselves about that pain. And I think it perfectly describes the battle you might be fighting right now. The teaching goes like this. In life, we are all struck by arrows. These arrows are the unavoidable painful events of existence. Losing a job, a breakup, sickness, the death of a loved one, even just the general sadness that sometimes drifts in like a fog. When this first arrow hits us, it hurts. It is physical. It is raw. It is the ouch of being alive. But often, immediately after that first arrow hits, we do something tragic. We shoot a second arrow at ourselves. This second arrow is our reaction to the pain. It is the story we spin around the event. The first arrow is the sadness. The second arrow is the thought, I shouldn't be sad. Everyone else is happy. What is wrong with me? The first arrow is the anxiety. The second arrow is the belief. This is never going to end. I am going to feel this way for the rest of my life. The first arrow is the trauma. The second arrow is the judgment. I am broken. I am damaged goods. I will never be whole again. Can you feel the difference? The first arrow is painful, yes, but the second arrow? That is where the suffering lives. That is where the agony becomes unbearable. Because while the first arrow is just a sensation, the second arrow is an identity. It turns a moment of pain into a lifetime of brokenness. I want you to check in with yourself right now. Think about the pain you are in. Can you identify the first arrow? Maybe it is simply, I am lonely, or I am grieving. Now look for the second arrow. What are you telling yourself about that loneliness? Are you telling yourself it means you are unlovable? Are you telling yourself it means you will be alone forever? This distinction is crucial because we often try to heal the first arrow by analyzing the second arrow. We try to fix our depression by fighting the belief that we are broken, but you cannot heal a wound by judging it. You cannot heal anxiety by being angry that you are anxious. The pain of life, that first arrow, is actually much more manageable than we think. It is a wave. It rises, it crashes, and if we just let it be, it eventually recedes. It is energy moving through the body, but the suffering, the second arrow, locks that energy in place. When we say, this will never end, we freeze the pain in time. We turn a moving wave into a stagnant pond. We trap ourselves in a loop of resistance. I want to offer you a gentle possibility today. What if you aren't broken? What if you are just in pain? What if the only thing wrong is the belief that something is wrong? We are going to spend the rest of this time together gently pulling out that second arrow. We are going to learn how to sit with the raw, honest pain of being human without adding the crushing weight of judgment on top of it. It is not your fault that you shoot the second arrow. We all do it. Our brain desperately tries to find a reason why so it can fix it. But emotions are not problems to be solved. They are experiences to be felt. So take another breath. Inhale compassion and exhale the judgment. In the next segment, we are going to look specifically at the I am broken narrative. We are going to deconstruct the idea that trauma or depression ruins your fundamental worth and discover why your core self remains untouched, even in the fire. Now, holding that space of compassion, I want to gently bring one specific story up to the light. It is perhaps the heaviest, most painful story of all. It is the story that says, I am broken. When we go through deep trauma, or when depression settles in and stays for months or years, this belief starts to feel like a cold, hard fact. It feels biological. It feels like something fundamental inside of you has snapped, like a bone that didn't set right, or a glass vase that was dropped on the concrete. You look at other people who seem to function easily, who laugh without effort, who get out of bed without a battle, and you think they are whole, and I am fragments. I want to offer you a different perspective, and I want you to listen to this not just with your logical mind, but with your heart. You are not a vase. You are not a static object that can be shattered. You are a living, breathing, evolving process. The I am broken narrative is actually a protective mechanism. It is your brain trying to make sense of the intensity of your pain. Your brain thinks, if I hurt this much, surely there must be something permanently wrong with the machine. But there is a profound difference between being wounded and being broken. A wound is painful. It requires care. It requires time and softness and attention. But a wound is a sign that you are biologically alive. A wound is a call for healing. Broken implies that you are useless. Broken implies that you should be discarded. Broken is a judgment passed on an object, not a state of a human soul. I want to use a metaphor here that has saved me many times in my own darkness. Imagine the sky. On a beautiful day, the sky is vast, clear, and blue. But then a storm rolls in. Thick, black clouds cover the sun. Thunder shakes the ground. Lightning tears across the horizon. The rain is torrential. If you look up during that storm, you might think the sky has been destroyed. It looks angry, it looks dark, it looks chaotic. You cannot see the blue anymore. But has the sky actually been broken by the storm? Is the sky scarred by the lightning? Is the sky permanently stained by the rain? No, the sky is the container for the storm. The sky is the vast, indestructible space in which the weather happens. You are the sky. Your depression, your trauma, your grief, these are the weather patterns. They are real. They are heavy. They can block out the sun for days or weeks or even years. But they are not you. You are the awareness that is experiencing the storm. You are the consciousness that is witnessing the pain. When we say, I am broken, we are identifying with the weather. We are saying, I am the storm. But when we shift that language even just a tiny bit, we find a small pocket of freedom. Instead of saying, I am depressed, try saying, I am experiencing a wave of depression. Instead of saying, I am anxious, try saying, anxiety is present in my body right now. Do you feel the difference? In the first sentence, the pain consumes you. You are the pain. In the second sentence, there is you and there is the pain. There is a separation. And in that separation, there is space to breathe. I know this is hard to believe when you are in the middle of the hurricane. When the thunder is shaking your walls, it feels impossible to remember the blue sky. That is okay. You don't have to force yourself to feel whole right now. But I just want you to plant a small seed of doubt in that I am broken story. What if the part of you that is hurting is just a part? What if there is another part of you deep, deep down, underneath the noise that is still intact, that is still capable of stillness, that is still capable of hope, even if it's just for a fleeting second? Trauma changes us, yes. It changes the landscape of our lives. It might leave scars, but scars are not breaks. Scars are evidence of survival. Scars are the places where life tried to crush you, and you knit yourself back together. You are not a damaged object. You are a survivor of a great storm, and the sky is still there, waiting for the clouds to part. Take a moment to let that sink in. I am the sky. I am not the weather. In the next segment, we are going to tackle the other arrow, the one that keeps us paralyzed in fear. We are going to talk about the terrified belief that this will never end. We are going to look at the lie of permanence and how to find hope when your timeline feels like a tunnel with no light. Now we must face the second great lie that suffering tells us. If the first lie is about who you are, I am broken. The second lie is about time. It is the crushing, suffocating belief that this will never end. When we are in the grip of deep grief or panic or the heavy fog of depression, our relationship with time becomes distorted. The present moment feels so absolute, so all-consuming that it swallows both the past and the future. Psychologists call this emotional permanence. It is the inability to imagine feeling any way other than how you feel right now. When you are happy, you know intellectually that you have been sad before, but it feels distant. It feels like a dream. But when you are in deep pain, happiness feels like the dream. It feels like a rumor you heard a long time ago. You look at your future and all you can see is a long gray tunnel extending out into eternity, with no light at the end. This is the second arrow at its most dangerous. Because if pain is temporary, we can endure almost anything. But if pain is forever, that is when we lose hope. That is when the weight becomes too heavy to carry. When you are in the bottom of the well, the sky is just a tiny circle of light. So far away, it looks like a star. It makes sense that you feel trapped. But I also want to tell you the truth about the nature of this universe. And the truth is, nothing is permanent. Look at the natural world. Look at the seasons. Winter always yields to spring. The night always yields to the dawn. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. Even the mountains are slowly, imperceptibly changing shape. It is impossible for a feeling to stay exactly the same forever. It is against the physics of being human. Even your deepest depression is not a solid block of concrete. If you look closely, really closely, you will see that it shifts. It has textures. Some mornings it is heavy and sharp. Some afternoons it is dull and gray. Some moments it lifts just enough to let you drink a cup of coffee, and then it settles back down. It is moving. It is changing. And because it is changing, it means it is not permanent. The belief that this will never end is a cognitive illusion. It is your brain trying to protect you from disappointment. Your brain thinks, if I expect the worst, I won't be blindsided when it happens. So it paints the future black. But you do not have to believe the painting. I want to offer you a tool for when the forever thought attacks you. It is the practice of shrinking the horizon. When you are in pain, do not look at the rest of your life. Do not look at next month. Do not even look at tomorrow. The forever is too big to carry. It will crush you. Instead, I want you to shrink your world down to just this breath. Can you get through this breath? Yes. Can you get through the next 10 minutes? Probably. That is all you have to do. You do not have to solve your depression today. You do not have to heal your trauma by dinner time. You just have to be here for this one small, manageable moment, and then the next one, and then the next one. There is a famous saying, "This too shall pass." Sometimes that phrase feels annoying. It feels dismissive. But when you really sit with it, it is a profound anchor. It means the joy will pass, so cherish it. It means the pain will pass, so hold on. You are in a tunnel, my friend. I know it is dark. I know you cannot see your hand in front of your face. But the darkness of the tunnel does not mean the sun has stopped shining. It just means you're underground. If you keep walking, even if you're crawling, you will eventually see a change in the light. It might be faint at first. It might just be a shade of gray instead of black, but it will change. You do not have to fix the future. You just have to trust the movement of time. Pause for reflection. Whisper this to yourself: I am in a season, not a sentence. A season passes. A sentence is forever. You are in a season. In our final segment, we are going to bring all of this together. We are going to talk about how to actually treat yourself while you are waiting for the season to change. We are going to replace the harsh voice of judgment with the voice of radical, gentle mothering. Because if you are going to walk through the dark, you deserve to hold your own hand while you do it. So how do we actually walk through this season? How do we treat ourselves when the first arrow has struck deep and we are trying so hard not to shoot the second arrow? We do it by replacing the voice of the judge with the voice of the mother. I don't mean your actual mother necessarily. I mean the archetype of the good mother, the part of the human spirit that is fiercely protective, infinitely patient, and unconditionally kind. Most of us, when we are in pain, become drill sergeants to ourselves. We say things like, "Get up, stop crying, you are being dramatic. Look at how much better everyone else is doing. You are wasting your life." We think that if we are harsh enough, we can whip ourselves back into shape. We think shame is a motivator, but shame is not a motivator. Shame is a paralyzing agent. It freezes us in the dark. I want you to try something radical. I want you to try treating your pain with hospitality instead of hostility. Imagine for a moment that your grief, your depression, or your anxiety is a small, terrified child sitting in the corner of a dark room. This child is crying. They are shaking. They are inconsolable. Would you walk into that room and scream at that child? Would you tell them they are broken? Would you tell them to hurry up and stop feeling sad because it's inconvenient for you? Of course not. That would be cruel. You would sit down on the floor next to them. You wouldn't force them to stop crying. You would just wrap a blanket around their shoulders. You would hold their hand. You would say in a low, soft voice, "I know it hurts. I am right here. I am not going anywhere until you feel safe." That is how you must treat yourself. The next time the wave hits you, the next time the forever thought comes, or the "I am broken" story starts playing, I want you to physically stop. Put a hand over your heart. Feel the warmth of your palm against your chest. This is a somatic signal to your nervous system. It says, I am here. And then speak to yourself as you would that child. Say, I see that you are suffering right now. It makes sense that you are sad. This is really, really hard. And I am going to stay with you through it. You are not trying to fix the pain. You are simply agreeing not to abandon yourself while you are in it. This is the antidote to the second arrow. The second arrow is abandonment. It is turning your back on yourself when you need your own love the most. The antidote is presence. It is the commitment to be your own best friend, your own gentle mother, even in the middle of the storm. I want to leave you with one final image to carry with you. There is a Japanese art form called Kintsugi. When a precious ceramic bowl breaks, the artist does not throw it away. Instead, they mend the cracks with lacquer mixed with powdered gold. They highlight the scars. They make the breaks beautiful. The bowl is never the same as it was before. It is different, but it is considered more valuable because of its history. It has been broken, and it has been healed with gold. You are that bowl. The traumas of your life, the losses, the depressions, they are the cracks. But your awareness, your compassion, your willingness to sit here and breathe through the pain, that is the gold. You are not broken goods waiting to be thrown out. You are a masterpiece in the making. You are becoming something deeper, wiser, and more compassionate than you could have ever been without the cracking. So please be patient with the glue. Be patient with the gold. The storm will run out of rain. The season will change. The tunnel will open up into a valley of light. I promise you it will. Until then, just keep breathing. Just keep holding your own hand. You are doing such good work. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being brave enough to exist. If this video helped you pull out even one small arrow today, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know. What is one kind thing you can say to yourself today instead of the judgment? Let's fill the comments section with that gold. Take such good care of yourself. You are the sky. I will see you soon.